Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Olamide Olawoyin. I'm your grad school advisor. If you are new to this channel, grad school advisor provide fully funded graduate school admission tips, grad school sustainability advice, and postdoctoral career guidance. If you want to follow me on this tip, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified each time I release new video. And so today I'll be discussing winning tips for Chevening Scholarship Application with Mr. Dolapo Olawoyin. I am glad he's here with us. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Dolapo Olawoyin.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lamide, for bringing me on here. I'm really excited.
So first thing, Mr. Olawoyin, please can you introduce yourself and what you are currently doing?
Yeah, thank you so much. So my name is Dolapo Olawoyin, and recently I completed my master's in food science and nutrition at the University of Leeds. I've had the opportunity to work in several sectors in the past, including pharmaceuticals, academia, and chemical pathology departments. My research interest lies in nutrition and global health. Particularly, I'm interested in alternative proteins and bioactive peptides. And yeah, currently I'm co-leading Science Cafe. So it's a research community that is particularly looking to enhance the research skills of young scientists in Africa through mentorship, seminars and trainings. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Olawoyin. So let's just talk about where it all started from. Where do you have your undergrad?
Yes, I had my undergraduate degree in biochemistry from the Ladoke Akitola University of Technology, and when I was in 300 level, so I started developing interest in sort of looking at that nexus between nutrition and global health. So I was particularly looking at how can we use nutritional approaches to solve diet-related diseases, and that was where my interest, in food science and nutrition started. And I must also say that, the background in biochemistry, all of the modules, they sort of also prepared me for the program I undertook at the University of Leeds. And that was what also propelled me to take the Masters in Food Science and Nutrition.
That's awesome. So I'm aware you're a Chevening Scholar, and I just want you to tell everyone out there what type of scholarship is this?
Yeah, thank you so much for that question. So the Chevening Scholarship is a UK funded scholarship. It's a UK scholarship, and is funded by the Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office and partner organization. So it's particularly targeted at talented leaders, individuals globally, people who have drive, who have the passion to shape a better future. And so it allows scholars to take a 1-year master's program, fully funded, where they can network, create a new network, build their skills, and then return to their home country, where they can use all of these skills to then make a difference in their home country. Like I said, it's a fully funded scholarship, so scholars do not have to worry about their tuition fee, the flights, and then also their stipend. So it basically covers everything, and that gives scholars the opportunity to build themselves professionally.
I'm curious, who are the category of people that receive Chevening Scholarship? What would you say about the eligibility criteria? Is it just based on STEM students, or both STEM and non-STEM are qualified? I just want you to talk broadly on the eligibility criteria.
Yeah, so one unique thing about the Chevening Scholarship is that, unlike every other scholarship, so it gives opportunity for all applicants, everyone to apply. So whether you're coming from STEMs or non-STEM, whether you've done social sciences or you are in the arts, you can apply for Chevening Scholarship. So ultimately, what Chevening wants to see is that how can you use your field to change the world? Do you have a clear vision of how you want to do this? So I've got people, last year someone was applying to sports from Nigeria, sports, masters in sport, and then a particular applicant was worried as to whether sport will sail through, because people believe that for Cheveners, at that point it was at the peak of COVID-19, so a lot of people believe courses in global health, nutrition, and public health would sail through Chevening. But then I, needed to advise that no, that's not the case. So if you are going to apply to sports, how do you think sports can impact change in your home country? And that was the question I gave to the applicant. So see how you can connect it. So whether you are doing creative, you are doing writing, you're doing art, drama, you can apply from any field to get Chevening Scholarship.
I just like you to touch more on the eligibility criteria. So now we know that all students can apply. Is there any other thing we need to know about the criteria?
Yeah. So regarding the criteria, yeah. So the first thing is, you must come from a country that is, eligible for Chevening Scholarship. I'm aware that about 160 countries, scholars come from about 160 countries to apply for Chevening. So you need to check if your country is eligible for that scholarship. And then the second thing you must have completed an undergraduate that is sufficient for you to get a master's degree in the UK. And basically, it's usually a 2-1 grade. So you must have a 2-1. And then the third criteria is that you must have at least 2 years of working experience, and that is equivalent to 2,800 hours. So that could include, part-time work, full-time, voluntary work, or even paid or unpaid internship. So when you combine all of this together, it must give you that 2 years work experience. And then the last requirement is yes, which is very important. Once you complete your program, you must go back to your home country for a minimum period of 2 years, because scholars are expected to go back and make a change, when they've garnered all these skills in their home country. Yeah, so these are the eligibility to apply for a Chevening Scholarship. And another important, the very last one is you must get at least one unconditional offer from a UK university. So you'll be applying to 3 universities. When you apply to Chevening, you also have to apply to university. And then you need to apply to 3 universities, but you must secure at least one unconditional offer from one of those universities before July.
I would just like us to summarize. So the first thing is you must have completed your undergraduate education. You must have a 2-1 grade. You must have at least 2 years postgraduate work experience that amount to at least 2,800 work hours. And again, you must have received unconditional offer, at least 1 out of 3 applications.
That's correct. Yeah. So at least
before July of every year, right?
Yeah.
Thank you so much on that. So I'm also aware that Chevening Scholarship is highly competitive. How did you turn out to be one? I just want people to learn from your experience.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that question. Yeah. So you're right. I can remember when I applied, about 8,000 people applied from Nigeria, and only about 48 to 50 were shortlisted in the end. So it's an extremely competitive process. But I think, a lot of factors did contribute to my success. But I also like to, I was favored. So I like to first accord the glory to God for that opportunity. But importantly, one of the things I did was to look at what the scholarship is all about. So quite often, a lot of applicants, when they want to apply to scholarship, they don't tend to understand the scholarship. So each scholarship has their own requirement. So I took that time to understand what is Chevening really looking for. So I took my time to do research, and then understanding that scholarship will really give you a clear cut of what you need to do, and now you can impress the selection committee. So the first thing is understand the scholarship you want to apply to, the requirements. So I took a lot of time. I watched videos. I was always on Chevening website, reading about Chevening, trying to learn about what the program is all about. And then second is your essay structure, which is very, very important. So when you're applying for Chevening, you would write 4 essays. And then, those essays are centered around testing your, they want to check your leadership ability, your networking ability. Why do you want to study in the UK? And what are your career plans? This essay, as short as they may be, they will require, they are going to require a lot of time and effort. I used about 3 months thereabout to write my essay. I kept writing, looking at it again. So let me just briefly talk about the essay, because that is one of the important things that would determine if you are going to be selected for the first stage. So for the leadership essay, you want to give at least 2 to 3 examples of when you have demonstrated leadership. So the question would be like, so Chevening is looking for people, who are able to influence, their community. They are looking for future leaders. Can you explain in your own example how you meet this requirement? So at that point, they want to understand, how have you demonstrated leadership? But I mean, I've had time to review a lot of Chevening essay, and what applicants do is that most time they rather spend time on talking about the position they hold rather than talking about, instead of talking about the impact. So one of the things I did was I didn't really buttress much on my position. I didn't even have a position. So my experience was in the academia when I work as a teaching assistant, and then I use that as one of the examples. So sometimes applicants believe that they have to be like a president of an NGO, or they have to be a president of a particular big organization, UNESCO, before they can, apply to Chevening Scholarship. So focus more on impact rather than position. So one of the feedback Chevening gave was, most applicants that got rejected, they gave too many examples. They were defining leadership. They gave too many examples rather than talking about the impact they made. And then so I was much focused on impact. And I knew my leadership essay was the very first thing the selection committee would be saying. So that was my selling point. It needed to be strong. So giving a powerful punchline at the opening of the essay, your powerful opening, is very, very important. So I needed to create that hook. And, my leadership, to summarize, was just basically how I introduced education technology that saved over 500 students from being out of school during COVID-19 pandemic. So, and then in the first opening, I was like, okay, for me, a leader is someone who is able to envision the future, enlist the support of others, and create impact. And then I said, my ability to envision the future saved over 500 students from being out of school during COVID-19 pandemic. So that introduction alone was probably able to create a hook, which got the selection committee interested to read the story. So having that powerful introduction, then giving example, and then use the STAR approach. So that's the situation, task, action, and result. Very, very important. Also with the networking, you need to employ the STAR approach. So situation, task, action, and result. So what was the situation? What was needed to be done? What did you do? And then what was the result? Importantly, I quantified my results. So I wasn't just saying, oh, then that saved student from being out of school. I mentioned the numbers. So giving numbers, giving name, make the whole story realistic. They could see the reality in what I was talking about. And also, you study in the UK, I was able to demonstrate research. I was able to talk about why I really wanted to do that course. And my career plan, I had a clear career plan, a timeline, and then I would also recommend the SMART approach. You want to look at specific, it must be measurable, it must be achievable, realistic, and it must have a timeline. You want to connect what the UK is doing in your own country with what you want to do. And you also want to tie your career plan to sustainable development goals.
Wow, that is so powerful. It is important to understand what Chevening entails. And again, your major selling point is your essay, if I understand you better. And then you specifically emphasize how important it is not to discuss your position as a leader, but discuss the impact of what you have done, quantify your impact. And I just want you to give an overview of what the application and selection process looks like.
Yeah, so from the stage of applying to then going to the UK, typically we take about 8 to 11 months. So it's a long process. So if you want to apply to Chevening, then you must be ready to go through that process. And each stage comes with its own anxiety, patience. So it's really a test of determination, of grit and passion. So when application open usually between July and August every year. So once the application opens, you fill in it's a comprehensive application, you write all those essays, fill the application, and then you submit. And once you do that, by November, so it takes 3 months to, probably 3 to 4 months to write your essays and submit. And then by November, what the selection committee will then do is to sift the application against eligibility criteria, which you already mentioned. So at that point, a lot of people will get rejected, not because they don't have what you may require, but because they were not really, they were not really, patient, or they couldn't look into the application. For instance, Chevening is saying we need 2,800 hours, and then this is the working hours is comprised of 35 to 60 hours. And then someone is entering that they worked 70 hours a week. Automatically, you are removed from the system. So those are the eligibility criteria. So you need to really watch out for all of these factors. I mean, they ask questions like, okay, have you studied, or they ask some eligibility question like, they will just, and then you pick yes or no. Sometimes people are confused, and then you just pick yes, unknowing to you. So you really need to research and know what they are asking, and also when you are entering the hours into the system, so you don't get rejected. So that is the first stage of rejection. And then after that, the independent reading committee will then start reading your essay, and then they will then create a shortlist and send to the High Commission of your own country. So if you apply from Ghana, from Nigeria, Tunisia, all over the world, they will send those shortlists to the High Commission. The High Commission of that country will then select applicants and call them for interview. So the interview is another very important stage, because once you get shortlisted from the essay part, the interview is also another order you need to cross. So after the interview, the interview usually will come around February of the following year, and then it will then run through April thereabouts, and then the final shortlist of people who are now selected as scholars would be around June. By February, you'll be asked to submit your reference letter, 2 recommendation letters onto the application portal, and then by July, you need to submit one unconditional offer. So it's very important that whilst you are doing your Chevening application, you're also applying to university, UK university. I've seen instances of people who eventually got the funding, but couldn't do anything because they could not secure any admission. So unfortunately, in such instances, there is nothing you want to use the funding for. So you need to target at least one unconditional offer, and you need to do this simultaneously with your Chevening application. And then finally, once the shortlist is created in June, all necessary paperwork can be done, and then by September, scholars will then fly to the UK, where they, come to study and then become a part of a global network.
Wow, that is interesting. So I want to believe this must come with challenges, even though there are a lot of opportunities. I just want you to tell us what are the challenges, notable challenges, and of course, some opportunities that come with being a Chevening Scholar.
Right. Well, so there are a wide range of opportunities that come with being a Chevening Scholar. The first thing is, being a Chevening Scholar, before you are selected, you must have been part of, when Chevening Scholars are selected, they're probably among the 1 to 2% of people that applied. So it's extremely competitive, and that alone is a great mark of potential, is a great mark of, of potential and great ability. So with being a Chevening Scholar, you could demonstrate this to any employer, and then they can see that you are probably qualified for that job, being a Chevening Scholar. The second thing is that sort of opportunity you can access as a Chevening Scholar. So throughout the year, there will be numerous events, conference, networking events, where you can also expand your network and, build on those ones you have, and then create lifelong relationship, which will also be useful for you in your career. The third thing is, as a Chevening Scholar, you get to study in the UK. The master's is just 1 year, and then you get to also learn from, world-class professor, and you gain an international, global recognized master's degree. And lastly, as a Chevening Scholar, so you don't have to worry about, the funding opportunity. You don't have to worry about every other thing. Yeah, but just like, the opportunities are there are also challenges that come with being a Chevening Scholar. And the first thing is, when you get selected, you'll be coming to study in a country that their program is very intensive. So it's 1 year and everything happens so fast. And as a Chevening Scholar, you also be expected to do a lot of things, volunteer, go for conferences. So, juggling all of these activities together can sometimes be daunting. And so you need that time management. So that's one of the things Chevening Scholar, one of the challenges. It could be daunting because of the task that comes with the scholarship. And then secondly, as a Chevening Scholar, so the navigating new culture, new country, and trying to learn and trying to get used to that. So it's also one challenge that comes as a Chevening Scholar.
Thank you so much. There are a lot of people out there, they are inspired by your story, and probably one or more people want to become like you. They want to look at your academic journey and use that as a template, to build their own career. So what would be your advice for them?
Yeah, so what I would say is, if you've got that desire to create an impact, to shape a better world, then go for it. So, it might look unrealistic. It might look like you're unable to reach that sort of height. When I was going to apply for Chevening Scholarship, I felt like this was too big. But then I gave myself time. The first time I learned about Chevening Scholarship was in 2019 thereabout, and at that time, when my understanding was, you need to have that service, you need to have worked in certain organization. So, and then I started looking, okay, where can I begin to prepare myself? So if you've got that passion, then start building, start doing something, start working towards it, and you can always achieve it, regardless of the others. Yeah, challenges will come, apparently, but you can always overcome, and you can always reach, whatever height you've ever dreamed of. And secondly, the second thing I would say is that, so it requires consistency and determination. The journey of getting funding, of reaching that, that career goal, is not smooth. So you come with a lot of orders. So, and at this point, you will need that sort of, that determination and that consistency. So there'll be time you get rejections. So you need to keep going until you're able to achieve your goal. And third is that, you need that community. You need community of people, like-minded people that you can work together with. I remember when, before getting funding, the Chevening Scholarship, I had this, my colleague who we did study biochemistry together back in days in Lautech. And then whilst we were waiting, we thought, okay, can we start doing something, let's stay together, let's advise each other, let's support one another. And whilst doing that, the idea of publishing paper, we had that idea of publishing paper. And of course, which Mr. Olamide was also part of people that inspired us. There are several times we organized meetings, and it was part of the review as well. So this sort of community will really, really help you. So, sometimes when you are down, someone is discouraged, or they keep pushing you, they keep encouraging you, and they keep telling you can do it. And I must say that, 3 of us we've got funding. We are now, studying our respective field. Lastly, don't give up. It's just consistency, have that supportive network, and don't give up, don't stop learning. Do that volunteering, take those courses, online courses, publish those papers. You might not have figured it out now, but start from somewhere, and then you can definitely do it.
Wow, this is so powerful. Thank you, Mr. Dolapo Olawoyin, for the powerful punchlines, powerful advice. Mr. Dolapo Olawoyin is a Chevening Scholar, and he has been telling us the winning tips for Chevening Scholarship Application. And I'm so sure a lot of people will want to connect with you. So I would like you to tell us your handle on Twitter. I would like you to tell how people can find you on LinkedIn and probably other social media network you are available on.
Yeah, so LinkedIn is fine. So my LinkedIn is just Dolapo Olawoyin. It would definitely just bring my profile out, and you can always connect. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Dolapo Olawoyin.